Hello everyone and welcome back to Beatley Tone's Beatles channel. Great to have you here. How you all doing? Hope you're doing well. Tonight, I know that I said on the last video the next video was going to be me doing a full review of the extra material on the Let It Be box set. But go on, ask me what I've been doing tonight. What have you been doing tonight, Tone? Well, tonight I've spent the evening with Paul McCartney. Not in the like we didn't break bread or go for a beer or anything like that. But he has done a live appearance at the South Bank Centre in London this evening as a promotional thing for his the lyrics book, and it was streamed. So it cost £10 to get to stream it. So I jumped on the stream and had a look. So I thought I'd make a video and tell you all about it. But first things first, I want to thank all the new subscribers that have joined the channel. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Great to have you here. If you saw the last video, this is, as you know, this is a new channel. On the last video, we celebrated reaching 100 subscribers with a little dance. Well, we've now reached 200 subscribers, amazingly. So thank you so much. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button down there, hit the notification bell, give the video a like, all the usual stuff. I really appreciate all the comments that have come from the old subscribers. Thank you for those. I do try and answer them all as quickly as I can, and I shall continue to do that, even the nasty ones. But anyway, as I said, did a dance for 100 subscribers. We've now hit 200. So here's the dance for to celebrate 200 subscribers. Everybody gonna dance tonight. Everybody's gonna feel alright. Everybody's gonna dance around tonight. Right, enough of that. So if you want to see the dance for the 300 subscribers, you know what to do. Anyway, tonight, the appearance. So this was a promotional thing for the lyrics book Paul has just brought out. I've actually got a bit of an issue with the lyrics book. Nothing serious, but the thing is that Mrs. Beatley Tone has bought it for me for Christmas, and I know that she's bought it for me for Christmas because I saw it arrive and her quickly whip it out of the box and take it upstairs. Now the problem that I've got is that I want it now, and so I've got to kind of, do a bit of negotiations to see if I can get my hands on it. If I can't, then I won't be really talking about it until Christmas Day, but I'll let you know how I get on with that. Anyway, so the interview in front of a live audience tonight in London. It was Paul with Paul Muldoon, who co-wrote the book. Paul told him all the stories and he put it into text. And there was another lady, Samira Ahmed, who was asking most of the questions. On the whole, they were somewhat dull and obvious, but I'll come to that in a bit. Paul looked very dapper in his suit, albeit slightly unshaven. Paul Muldoon looked as if he was wearing a pair of shoes that he might do the gardening in. I think a little bit of history might have been made tonight, actually, because it was the interview lasted an hour and a half, and I think quite possibly that's probably the longest live interview Paul has ever done in his career, I would have thought. Maybe you know better, I don't know. Anyway, the odd thing about this, about the interview, is that they hardly talked specifically about the book at all. It was much more general questions. So I'll tell you about some of the things that that they talked about. I won't tell you everything in case you want to stream it yourself. I think I'll put a link down in the description if you want to stream it. I think it's available until next Friday or maybe next Sunday. I think it was the 12th of November. Obviously, you can stream it from anywhere. It costs £10 in the UK. I'm not sure what it is in Europe. I think it was about $15, I think, in America or something like that. Anyway, she asked him questions about growing up in Liverpool and his family back there and why he goes back there so often. And his answer to that was that he loves it. He loves going back there. And he likes to go every year to the graduation ceremonies at the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts, which is actually the place where he went to school. He talked a bit about his relationship with John, and he got a little bit emotional talking about that. He talked about writing with John, and a little bit how they used to sit opposite each other with guitars throwing lines back and forth at each other. And he talked about how good John was, and how he considered himself to be really lucky to be able to write with him. He said he said at the end of the day, this wasn't Joe Bloggs he was working with; it was John Lennon. So he was kind of emphasising, his lucky break, if you like. Paul Muldoon said, "You really loved him, didn't you?" And Paul said, "Yes, I did. But being working class lads from Liverpool, they could never say that to each other. So he said that he never told him that he loved him, which is a bit of a shame. But he said, he did in the song here today." He was asked about I Saw Her Standing There, and he trotted out the same story about how he sat there, playing the song to John. She was 17, never been a beauty queen, and John said, no. So they changed it to "You Know What I Mean," and kind of used that as a kind of a risque type of line. They played an extract from the song "Early Days" from the new album, which was the only reference to any solo material in the whole interview. Which led to, because in the song he talks about being on the bus in Liverpool, and it led to a lot of talk about being on buses in Liverpool. And he said he met George on the bus, and he said he met John on the bus, which I don't think is true. And he told the story. If you haven't heard this story, it's a great story about how he and John got on a bus from one side of Liverpool to the other because they heard a story that there was a bloke on the other side of Liverpool that knew the chord B7. So they got on the bus and went all the way over there so this fella could teach them B7, which they obviously used quite a lot in their early songs. Samira spoke about how at a young age he had the ability, in connection with the song "Early Days," I suppose, about how he had the ability to write songs about the past, and use that as a kind of a lead-in to ask him about "When I'm 64," which was a bit of a weird sort of lead-in, because obviously "When I'm 64" is a song that's looking into the future, not looking back at the past. But anyway, then she asked him about did he ever dream songs, and straight away I thought this is going to be a nailed-on entry into him telling the sort of the scrambled eggs yesterday song, but he didn't. He actually used it to talk about dreaming about his mum, seeing his mum in a dream, which led to the writing of Let It Be. She also asked him about living in Jane Asher's parents' loft room in the sort of early 60s, and that he used to keep all these gold records under the bed. To which he said, "Did I? Who told you that?" And so she said, "Well, Barry Miles, it's in your official biography." To which he said, "Well, if Barry Miles said it happened, then it must have." Then he went on to tell a story about meeting a little girl, and I can't remember what he said, how this happened. It might have been a friend of Beatrice's, I'm not sure, I can't remember. And she, when she met him, she said, "Oh, you're a Beatle." She said, "I learnt about you in school." And he said, "Yes, I am. What did you learn?" And she went on to tell him a story, which he didn't elaborate what it was, that wasn't true. He said, "No, that didn't happen. What actually happened was," but he didn't tell. He didn't elaborate on that at all. However, as I say, there was hardly any reference to any, specifically to songs in the book or sort of stories about them, apart from what I've just said. They mentioned no songs whatsoever from his solo career, and Let It Be was the only sort of latter day Beatles song that they talked about. So that, that's not the whole thing, but those are the things that I thought were, the most interesting things. But then right near the end, she said that they've got a couple of questions from the audience, and that was kind of the most interesting bit for me. I've always said, if you want a killer interview with Paul McCartney, what you need to do is you need to stick 50 fans in a room and get them to ask them what they want to know, and you'll get, something a bit different to the usual, the same old stuff that he normally gets asked by interviewers. So the first question that I thought was really good was someone asked. They didn't stand up and ask the question. That Samira had these already written down. But the first question was, what is the biggest misconception about you? Guess what he said? He said, the biggest misconception about me is that I broke up the Beatles. So he got that in. He didn't elaborate on it at all. He just said, "But I didn't break up the Beatles." He said, "But I'm over that now." And then another great question was from one of the audience members was, we all know what you've given to the fans over all these years and to music in general, but what has everything that you've given cost you personally? Which I thought was a really good question. And he was very frank about this, and he said, well, the main thing is his privacy. He admitted that that this was a decision that he made, right at the beginning. He wanted the fame, and that is the price, and the lack of privacy. He said, I knew this, but I've learned to cope with it. And that's pretty much it in a sort of a nutshell. Finally, I just wanted to also say this, because it's been in the news this week that Paul has stopped signing autographs, which I thought was a bit weird, because he's usually really good at that and does promotional signings and stuff in record stores and stuff like that. But as he took his bow sort of at the end, some fans handed him some stuff to sign, which he did. So he hasn't stopped signing autographs. But in summary, sort of, if you're going to stream this, hoping to find out what's in the book and some untold stories about the songs that are in that, you're not going to get it. Anyway, that's all for now. I am going to be doing the Let It Be video, and it'll probably be here on Sunday. Thanks very much for watching. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.